कि एक तरह से नारीवादी बोल सकते हैं। हालाँकि हम शायद इस बातचीत से भी ढूँढना पसंद करेंगे कि किस तरह के शब्द ट्रांस कम्युनिटी को इंक्लूड करेंगे जो जेंडर के मामले को उठाते हैं। पर ये सारे जो अलग-अलग किस्म के फेमिनिज़्म हैं नारीवाद है, ये सब अलग-अलग चीज़ें और अलग-अलग आइडिया दिए हैं, जिनके बीच में बातचीत बहुत कम होता है। तो मैं बहुत एक्साइटेड हूँ कि आज के दिन में ये बातचीत शुरू होगी और हम शुरू करते हैं सांता से। सांता, इफ यू आर विलिंग टू बिगिन, वी विल स्टार्ट विथ यू और उसके बाद आलोका, सुजाता, जेनिका।
Yeah, hi Bittu.
हाय।
Yeah, I don't know how to start with and what to start with because like everything is not going well in terms of trans movement. Even when we talk about women, there is still a lot of controversies and a lot of challenges in terms of talking about transgender and women empowerment. So first of all, I would like to place a clarification in the beginning, just to make people aware that who am I and where I belongs to and my community identity. So I'm neither a Hindu Dalit nor a Hindu tribal. I belong to an indigenous community called Meitei in Manipur. The reason why I'm like putting this in my introduction, because like many times people have this confusion about what is indigenous identity. When we say indigenous identity, then people always think that it's belong to some tribe. So just to make people aware of this, I just place this in my introduction. So I will just begin with National Transgender Council. This is the most funny thing for me in the millennium, because the trans person, the member of the Trans Council, which was appointed from Manipur to represent Northeast, is a person who never invite openly transgender peoples at his or her home, and he's not known to any much number of community, meaning like he or she even did not know a good the name of transgender individual in Manipur. So she was appointed, he or she, very confused. I'm very confused about her gender pronoun also. Uh, like he was appointed as a member of the council. He was appointed as a member of the council. So it's good that somebody from the region is representing the region. But at the same time, like the council, the peoples who are controlling or who have this kind of a power to appoint peoples in the council, they are spoiling the resources of the community. So this is a simple example of how people in power have misappropriate our resources and then trying to divide the solidarity of the community. And this is the most painful things which I have ever experienced in my life. And this is an example. This is an example. I'm just giving this as an example to begin my presentation for this event, because like when we talk about International Women's Day, we often experience a lot of countless number of women belongs to different identity, belongs to different geography, race, ethnicity, class, are left out. So then why we are celebrating this International Women's Day, and how do we mobilize this women's folk who are always pushing to the periphery in women's development. Likewise, transgender peoples are also, I am talking about transgender women. Transgender women are also the women who have a feminine expression and feminine subjectivity. They always aspire to become a woman. Then why the International Women's Day observation always fail to talk about transgender women? Why we have been excluded from the women category? This is my question to the women in the world. Because like when we say women, we cannot confine women in the cisgender or biological women. There are different form of women, and we are also a form kind of women in the women category. So many of the feminists are very transphobic. We have experienced this. And then there were also several like several statesmen coming out from many popular feminists from the western countries and also from India. So like until and unless we are able to bridge the gap between this like misunderstanding or kind of like try to uproot the internet transphobia that's there within the women themselves, then it will be very difficult to like incorporate transgender women with feminist movement. This is my second thing. Because like transgender peoples on the other hand are the peoples who are at the like highest degree of vulnerability. We have certain vulnerability when compared with the cisgender women. We are far less underprivileged, but people fail to understand this. Because like for me, for example, I'm somehow okay because I'm able to communicate with other peoples, because I can at least speak English to communicate with peoples. But actually there are also a lot of transgender peoples who do not have this capacity to communicate with peoples, to share their stories, to share their pains. So like there are certain things which we need to address, but often we fail to address this because like people's at the forefront, they are always trying to like climb the ladder using the communities realities, community stories, which I feel like it's kind of intellectual infringement of intellectual properties. Because for the transgender peoples, we have less education, we have less resources, but what is happening like is many of the peoples who are well educated, we have a good exposure to the like to different funders, and then in highest platform, they are taking out on narratives, and then they will compile it, they will articulate it, they will bring out in a very good format, and then they will get money. And my question is whether the benefit is going directly to the trans community or not. So like it's like in the movement also only a handful of community members are getting benefit out of the movement, and then they are getting their names, they are making their careers. But how about those countless number of people who are working at the grassroots level? And now it is the high time that we also reach out to the people who are working hard at the grassroots level, and also people who are having who are in the like who are belongs to diverse cultural, social, economic realities. Because we cannot just overshadow transgender narratives with the with the majority trans culture. Because if we wanted to bring the unity of the transgender, if we wanted to present the diversity of the transgender peoples across the country, then we also need to recognize and acknowledge the existence of transgender peoples in the periphery. So these are some of the things which I have been thinking for a long time. Many of the time when we say transgender India, like it's obviously there are a few people's face who are coming out at the first place. So this is also a kind of misrepresentation. This is a feasible example of how majoritarian culture has overshadowed the peoples, minority peoples within the minority. So like if we wanted to celebrate, or if we wanted to, bringing the diversity of the community, whether it is a trans or whether it is a women, then we need to reach out to more peoples. We need to empower peoples. We need to recognize their realities. We need to recognize their hard work. Only then we would be able to bring a union between these two, differences. Otherwise, like the movement will go on, but actually we will fail to get the equality, we will fail to bring the equity within the community, within the country. So this is something which I would like to flag out with the coming of this International Women's Day observation 2021. Like, yeah, and also the other thing which comes to my mind is we have we have been fighting for our rights in the sense like we are always demanding. And I also had a second thinking. I realized that why should not we also help other peoples? Because like we also need to think about humanity services, our potential to give away something to the peoples. It's true that we are the peoples who have been discriminated, who have been subjected to violence, but actually this is not the end of everything. Every individual has its own struggle. But like presenting ourselves or projecting ourselves as a that figure all the time, meaning like it also gives a very bad picture to the of the community, to the society. So it is also time that we also try to like show our potential to other peoples or to the society, so that people also acknowledge our potential. Otherwise, like if we always trying to show our pithiness and always seek sympathy, then I don't think this movement will get stronger, because there will be again more discrimination coming in future. Because like this could be the reason why whenever there is certain development or kind of benefit giving to the community, transgender community, government, state government, and or central government, they are always giving like a piecemeal democracy. Like for example, recently when I follow a news, it comes out from a North India state. A few transgender community were recruited, but as constable. So it's good, it's a good initiative, but actually why to constable? Why always at the lowest position? In every workplace, in every sector, private or government, when we talk about trans inclusive, we are always at the lowest position. Why people have stereotypes and also as pre-assume that we have less capacity, we have less ability. We do have the capacity, but actually what the government and the society fail is that they do not want to give us the chance to use our potential, to use our energy. They always wanted to suppress us. That's why they are giving at the lowest rank. So these are some of the things which I have experienced, and I want to reflect, and I want to take a long time. So thank you so much to this organizer for inviting me in this wonderful event. Thank you, Bitu.
Thank you. I'll just do a quick translation and then we'll get perspective from everybody. And then
Okay.